Well, folks, good day to you, one and all, and welcome to yet another round, another Wednesday night when we do what we love, iRacing, Western Province Sports and GT and Masters iRacing, in fact. And as you can see, tonight it's going to be pretty interesting stuff that we're going to be having out there. It's going to be Daytona road circuit, and we'll be doing battle in the Audi 90 GTO. That is the one. The man you see out there on circuit right now, that is Neil Lamprecht. We've got the likes of Johan Verree out there as well. Christian van Wyk, that's had a pretty good run of racing recently, and I was watching him in the practice earlier on. He likes to throw this four-wheel drive Audi around and play black stripes on the circuit. Robbie Teams, the original comeback kid, in his Jägermeister. Leon van Wyk in the Being IT. Willem Botha, oh, he's got some Wilwood sign writing on there tonight, the man from Toyota Gazoo Racing. JJ van der Merwe. Guess what? He's in green. And then we've got Varney Cravenstein in the 2 car, spitting flames as he gears it down. And then Timothy Stanton is out there as well. Sandra Bakari, Leonardo Bakari are at Sandra's daughter's wedding, so he's missing out on tonight. Peter van der Spey is on a, I think it's the top-end run with the Porsche, and so he'll be out for tonight as well. So we don't have any super senior. So Neil Lamprecht's the first man that clocks a sub 144.5 is Neil Lamprecht, ahead of Johan Verree, Timothy Stanton. And remember, they can't see one another out on circuit at all. We can see them all together. JJ van der Merwe, 5/10 of that of Neil Lamprecht. Leon van Wyk, as he works his way around. Let's get a track map up there, as you can see the track map, where exactly they are. So Varney Cravenstein has not put up a time yet. He's on his way around towards the start-finish line. I'm going to guess he's going to be around about 6th ahead of Christian van Wyk and behind Leon van Wyk, looking at his sector times. Oh, that wasn't a bad guess for a newbie. Alright, so Willem Botha, let's see where Willem Botha, he's still got a way to go. And then, well, we've got Robbie Teams and Jan Engelbrecht that are in the super senior section. So still a long way to go for Jan Engelbrecht to get a clean lap through. And Willem, probably going to go to the front of the grid, knowing Willem Botha. Wouldn't be surprised at all. Neil Lamprecht puts up the fastest time. Oh, Willem Botha and Johan Verree literally consecutively climb onto the front row of the grid and say, cheers boys, have a nice day, let me show you the way around. A 144.1 from both Johan Verree and Willem Botha. So they set up for a titanic struggle. Then it will be provisionally Neil Lamprecht and JJ van der Merwe are going to be on the second row of the grid. Timothy Stanton and Leon, well, JJ, Timothy and Leon are all to within a 1/10 of a second of one another. So that, oh, sliding it around Willem Botha. These Audis with a four-wheel drive, more than enough power for the amount of rubber that they've got. So for those of you that have arrived late, this is what it's all about. Sports and GT round number 8, season number 15 from Daytona Road, where we do battle in the Audi 90 GTO. That's Willem Botha that you see working his way around there. He's still got quite a long way to go. Leon van Wyk is just about finished his lap. He doesn't need a whole heat. He just needs a 10th to move himself up onto the second row of the grid. Just a 10th. That's all it's going to take. And you'll probably find that he has found it, although he's got 3 yellow sectors, 1 green sector. Nope, I don't think it's going to make a difference. Johan Ferrier has gone quicker. Timothy Stanton. Wow, Timothy Stanton comes alive and sticks it on the second row of the grid. Now Robbie Teams, he's at the back end of the pack. He's got all green sectors right now, and he'll want to bump himself up. He had a clean lap, but he was 5 seconds off, so obviously something did go wrong on that lap that he did. So you'll find that his time will be notably quicker. Willem Botha has gone into the pits, and Willem Botha is working his way back out of the pits, so he hasn't given up on this one yet. He's 2 tenths off Johan Ferrier. Timothy's 3 tenths off. Neil is 5 tenths off. JJ still 7 tenths off. Leon 9 tenths off. And Leon van Wyk putting in yellow sectors, so I don't think that Leon's going to go any further forward from that 6th position. 2 tenths to get to JJ. Johan Ferrier has got 1 green sector, 1 purple and 2 yellows, but he's aware that Willem is back out on circuit, so that is what is a bit of a motivational factor for him. As Leon comes around, will he be able to bump it through higher than the 3rd row of the grid? Doesn't look like it. Stays on the point. 9.47. Not been able to get it any quicker than that at this stage of the fight. Timothy Stanton might be. Oh yeah, it's Timothy Stanton. What a rocker. Can you believe it? He has bumped Willem off the front row of the grid. That's quite amazing stuff. What a drive there by Timothy Stanton. 9.5 minutes into this 12 minutes. And Timothy Stanton stamps his marker on this one. So it's time for me to get in here and get happiness going. So where is Willem Botha at the moment out there on circuit? Well, he's just started another lap, so he will be able to complete this lap. And I don't think it's an out lap. I think it is his 2nd lap. So hopefully he will be able to get one last chance. I see Robbie Teams has come back into the pits. Fanny Gravenstein is on his way towards the line. And Johan Ferrier has got another 2 purple sectors. Is Johan Ferrier going to go even quicker? No, he's slowing it down. He's not happy. He had that 1 yellow sector. He says, nope, this ain't going to be any better. And Johan Ferrier goes and slows it all down and pulls it back to the pit. So Timothy Stanton, he's only 57 thousandths of a second off Johan Ferrier. Is it possible for him to actually pick up the pole? No. He's realized that he can't make it either, and he goes and he stops it. Well, he's doing a practice start. No wheel spin there at all. Probably going to do another one. Nope, he decides that's enough. He's ready to go. Willem Botha is going to have one last crack at the start-finish line to see if he can get onto the front row of the grid. Marginal stuff. Willem Botha relegated to the 2nd row of the grid. Timothy Stanton stamps his name on this one. Wow, what a drive so far by Timothy Stanton. Can Neil go any further forward? No, he won't have time to finish his lap at all. And then Johan Engelbrecht He has completed his lap already. That's going into turn number 1. And that concludes the qualifying. Right, so we're just waiting for that grid to come up. There's our grid. So, Johan Verree and Timothy Stanton. Well done, Timothy Stanton. Willem Botha from Neil Lamprechts. To beat Willem Botha, to beat Neil Lamprechts, to beat JJ, and to beat Leon, you gotta be pretty much on it. Johan Engelbrecht, the first of the super seniors from Christian van Wyk, Fanie Gravenstein, and Robbie Teens, in the absence, that is, of the Bakari brothers, Sandro and Leonardo Bakari, that are at Sandro's daughter's wedding. And then also with Peter van der Spey on a trip. So off the line they are going to go, and they will work their way down towards turn number 1. Just going to keep on turning and keep on turning. It was the 77 that was running wide. It was Timothy Stanton that ran wide there. Johan Verree is going to be the man to lead them out after turn number 3 from Willem Botha. Then it's Neil Lamprechts in behind him. Leon van Wyk has got up to that 4th position, and that because of the demise of Timothy Stanton from Christian van Wyk, JJ van der Merwe, Fanie Gravenstein. There comes Robbie Teens, and Johan Engelbrecht was on his way out of the pit lane. So that's why we didn't manage to see him in that specific shot. But Willem Botha up into that second, even though he was tipped out there by Timothy Stanton for the front row of the grid. He's made good of getting hold of Johan Verree's slipstream and holding on to him 4/10 off the back end, and that is kind of what you need to be able to pick up the necessary slipstream assistance to hold onto that lead car. Willem Botha taking a slightly different line going in there. This is Johan Verree's nanas. This is what he used to do on main circuit. Haven't seen him on main circuit for quite a while as Johan Verree and Willem Botha work their way around. Neil Lamprechts holding out on Leon van Wyk. Now Timothy Stanton, after that moment of euphoria of getting onto the front row of the grid, he must have been thinking, yo, call me the driver of the day, I deserve it. It was a beautiful run by him. Willem Botha having a look on that outside line. Let's have a look, see from Neil Lamprecht's point of view. It's still Johan Verree that holds on. Willem's now going to try that cutback. They'll once again be side by side. Let's hope that they do not make contact at all. There has been incidents between these two previously, but that's just purely out of the will to win and the competitive side of it that both of them have got. And Phillips really on the move. Well, let's have a closer look at this one. That's what it looks like from Willem Botha. Goes around on that outside line, tries to carry the pace through to do the cutback, but Johan Verree closed that line off perfectly. Now we're going to get the left-hander and get it out onto the main circuit. Willem runs a little bit wider than what Johan does, and Johan gets good drive out of the corner. That saved him from any kind of attack when they get through to the chicane, because that opened the gap up quite a bit between them. Another man that's got a car right in front of him is in fact Christian van Wyk. Christian van Wyk all over the back end by a 10th on the back end of JJ, and it looks like, oh, he almost looked like he had the drive to have a look up on the inside line, and then that went away from him. That was quite surprising as we go back on board with Willem Botha as they back out onto the banked main. Another man that's got a whole windscreen full of happiness is in fact Timothy Stanton, but Neil Lamprechts has got the bird's eye view of this one. It's Johan Verree and Willem Botha. It's going to be the left-hander. Can Willem sweep right around the outside? And look who's getting closer. Neil has got one hell of a run. He's got to pick a side. No, he decides that these two are going to nail one another. I'm going to stay right out of it. And Neil Lamprechts backs completely out of that as Willem gets the power down with 2 wheels on the dirt. And Neil Lamprechts has come to play. There's no doubt about it. Timothy Stanton, the man that was the second fastest qualifier, is now going to put up the fastest lap of the race so far. Timothy Stanton on the 143.39 in race trim. That's very decent. Willem Botha very late coming across to the left hand side of the circuit, but somehow he makes that unconventional line work for him. I was expecting that Neil Lamprecht was going to get a bit of a run on him at that stage of the fight. Neil within a half a second, and once again Willem goes for that wide line going out onto the banked oval, with Johan Fourie taking the title line. But now, while all that is on the go, there's another man that's coming into play here. That is Leon van Wyk. He's going to make that a four-way session, and with Timothy Stanton having just put together the fastest lap of everybody in this race, Timothy's now starting to close down. Remember, there is that four-car train. There's got to be some added influence on the airflow if you're in behind four cars as opposed to one car. Now, Willem's starting to lose ground to Johan Fourie, if you can call 6/10 losing ground. But then again, he's got to get a hoof on, because Neil is right in there with him. In fact, Neil is actually going to have a serious go at Willem Botha right now as they come across the line, and he's going to go for that outside line, and he backs out of it, and that brings Leon van Wyk into play. Now, this will all play into the hands of Johan Fourie, because if they start fighting one another, it makes it a whole bunch easier for him. From the front, Johan Fourie, the red one, Willem Botha, the white and greenish color is Neil Lamprecht, the white base behind that is Leon van Wyk, and then the silver and green of the fastest accountant in South African iRacing, that is Timothy Stanton. Now, not too far behind that, there comes JJ on a lonely run. I don't believe JJ is going to be able to catch up to this pack if they stay static in this pack. And I mean, Timothy Stanton is the man that's going to be doing the pushing from the back end of the pack. How much can he possibly close? 6/10, and it stays at 6/10. He doesn't have enough draft there. If anything, Leon van Wyk being just that little bit closer to Neil was closing on Neil Lamprecht from Induction Noise, powered by ROWE Oils. And this high-speed trade keeps on trucking. Timothy Stanton's got to find a way to close that 8/10 as Willem Botha's getting a whole lot closer. Willem Botha is up and alongside momentarily, and Willem Botha backs out of it. That was very, very strange. For some other reason, Willem Botha just went a whole bunch slower. Went very deep into that corner as well. That's going to cost him quite a bit of ground. That was a very, very strange one. That was Willem Botha being passed there by Johan Fourie. He was pretty much on it, unless he had a time penalty. As you can see there, he's with it. He's on it. It's happening. He's actually passed Johan Fourie. And even at that point, he's still right there as he goes across the line. Goes in kind of deep. Gets it sideways. Well, that is the strangest of stuff. I'm not sure. I really don't know how that what happened. Either way, it's Johan Fourie that's starting to stretch the legs from Neil Lamprecht, from Leon van Wyk. Leon van Wyk that started on the third row of the grid finds himself now ahead of Willem Botha. Willem Botha in the sights of Timothy Stanton, and then only there do we see JJ. Then there comes Christian van Wyk coming through behind that. Then we've got Fani Cravenstein, but Johan Fourie slowly but surely trying to stretch that five-car train out. Somehow make a plan. And if there's any plan, it's going to be Neil Lamprecht right now. Neil Lamprecht has a look right around on the outside, backs out of that one, knows he's got to close the lineup because otherwise that is what's going to happen. Up on the inside will come a Leon van Wyk as Johan Fourie says, fight it out, my children, fight it out. While you do that, I will make sure I get away at the front. And Willem Botha's having a go once again. He's going to be on the outside of the upcoming left-hander. He drops in to pick up that slipstream as Neil from Induction Noise, powered by ROWE Oils, gives a little dive there on the brakes to try and close up that gap, seeing that there is contact between Willem Botha and Leon van Wyk. Once again, slight contact. He just misses the tires. Timothy Stanton says, right, there's my first victim. I've got you. Oh, somebody. That must be because of the fact that the guys have got time penalties, that they all of a sudden slowing down like that. Leon van Wyk was right there where it counted at that point and made good use of that. So Johan Fourie in the mobile car, spitting flames. Oh, he gets it completely sideways. Surely Willem is going to be able to close up here. He's got to be on a faster run. Yep, he is closing up. Johan Fourie made up a whole bunch of ground, but maybe he gets up with a time penalty there with that as well. And no, he goes into the pits, so he's not going to get into a fight at this stage of the fight. Well, Johan Fourie's gone into the pits, Neil Lamprecht has gone into the pits, Leon van Wyk has decided to go in on 10.5 minutes, so has JJ van der Merwe. Christian van Wyk decides, I'm going to go straight through. Fanie Gravenstein decides to go straight past Robbie Teens, that's leading out from Johan Engelbrecht. Johan Engelbrecht must have had a bit of an issue because that's dropped him down, but Fanie has now got that open ground in front of him. He's quite chuffed with that one, with the other guys going into the pits. So the first man coming out of the pits will be Johan Fourie. Who's going to be the next one? It's going to be Neil Lamprecht. Behind Neil Lamprecht is going to be Leon van Wyk. Then JJ looks like he's actually closed up a little bit as you have a situation where in and out of the pits in a whole group like that becomes pretty interesting, because if we now look at it, the lead man that's been in and out of the pits is Johan Fourie. The lead man that has not been in and out of the pits is in fact the man that is presently leading the race, and that be Willem Botha. Willem Botha has got Timothy Stanton with him. Now Timothy is not being held up at all by Willem Botha. He's 1.1 seconds behind. Is there any assistance in terms of wind reduction if you're 1.1 behind? I tend to not think so. From what we could see early on, it looks like you've got to be within a maximum of 4 tenths or 3 tenths to be able to pick up any assistance. Straight lines are going into the pit lane, hooks it up, into the pit lane they go. So what does Christian van Wyk do? Is he going to follow suit? Remember, him and Fanie Gravenstein have not been into the pits yet. Probably find he's going to go flying in there. Yes, he does. Willem Botha is the man that's going to be the decisive factor between himself and Johan Fourie. Locking up there, Fanie Gravenstein. Where's Johan Fourie? Here comes Johan Fourie. Where is Willem Botha? Still standing in the pits is Willem Botha, and Johan Fourie is on his way around, and Willem Botha is on his way out, and Johan Fourie is going to come into the picture in the next couple of seconds. Oh, there's nothing between them. Can Willem Botha jump him? No, it's going to go to Johan Fourie. It's going to go to Johan Fourie. Willem Botha was still on the pit restrictor, and I think Timothy Stanton and Neil Lamprecht are literally side by side. Timothy will go for the cutback, and he might just get it together. Now he's got to try and swoop around the outside as him and Neil are side by side on one another. And Timothy Stanton right on the grass, and that is going to give the edge that Neil Lamprecht needs to take up that third position. Directly behind that is then Leon van Wyk. Nothing much between the three of them in terms of pace right now. Everybody has been in and out of the pits. Let's have a look at the gains and losses as we keep an eye on Johan Fourie. Started in pole, still in pole. Willem Werter from third up to second. Neil Lamprecht from Induction Noise, powered by ROWE Lubricants, from fourth up to third. Timothy Stanton, the one man that's dropped down to make those two green number one going up, that's ahead of him. Neil Lamprecht and Willem Werter. Wasn't that a strange way to explain that one? Those green ups. Then we've got Leon van Wyk is the next man that comes in there. And he's in a bit of a lonely position right now, is Leon van Wyk. Started in fifth position, and ahead of him is that battle. And once again, we see somebody that slows down. Must be for time penalties for going offline on circuit. Too many penalty points. There's got to be some kind of gain in it somewhere, otherwise they wouldn't be doing it repeatedly. As Willem Werter now decides on 14 minutes and 59 seconds, he is going to now start to put the pressure back onto Johan Fourie. Now we are accustomed to seeing Johan Fourie leading races. Oh, we've got to keep an eye on this one as well. Neil and Timothy, nothing much between the two of them. Very nice sticker job. Look at the size of that Audi Quattro exhaust. It's like a big gutter. Every time that wastegate pops, it just blows the flames out on the side. Gets rid of that excess unburned fuel as he gets up onto the bank main. The 141 of Neil Lamprecht from Induction Noise. Started in fourth, still in fourth position. Looks like he is getting a bit of a run on Timothy Stanton. He's down to 0.4 of a second. He'll come right up against the wall. Smooth entry, pretty very nice entry, but the exit of Timothy Stanton wasn't as good as the entry of Neil Lamprecht, but I think the exit was better, and that's what's giving him that bit of a gap. Although the gap does seem to be closing between the two of them just a smidgen, so Neil seems to have the move here. Has Neil got the move? Will he be able to? I think he's going to run out of track, to be very honest. They're going to be into the next corner. Yep, that'll be into turn number one, and we just saw a smidgen there of that front end battle. There's a long shot for you of Willem Werter and Johan Fourie in a titanic struggle. 16 minutes 40 seconds into this 10th lap out of 15 laps. Look at that one. Really, really close. I really hope that they don't have any contact at all. It will be a sin if either of them must lose out on the stop position. I do believe Johan Fourie is playing it just a little bit safe, because Neil seems to be holding on and pressurizing without any major difficulty. See there, he goes wide once again. I think the thought of getting that four-wheel drive power down based on a bit of a wheel spin scenario, I think that just tickles his biscuit a little bit. And even though Johan Fourie does initially get away from him, he continues to go with that line, and that saves Johan Fourie from any, did I say saves Johan Fourie from any form of pressure? Maybe Willem knew something that we don't know, and Johan Fourie takes the long line over those bollards on the infield. And now Willem goes up high, then he drops it down to close that line, initially taking the slipstream away from Johan Fourie. Now Johan Fourie is going to have a look on that outside line as they go past the pit entry down towards turn number one. Who is going to get the better of this one? Johan Fourie will not back out. Willem will not back out either. Willem's going to get it. Will it be a cutback? No. Willem Werter has gone to the front. Plain, fair and straight. Willem Werter's gone to the front. Neil Lamprecht still beats out there on Timothy Stanton with Leon van Wyk that's now come into close. As they work their way down the straight, you can see they very much on the same kind of line, the same spots where they are changing gears. If you look at the flames coming out of the side of Timothy Stanton's car and you listen to the gear changes done in the car that we're riding in, Leon van Wyk, you can see they're running very, very similar rev patterns, at which point they find this is where the optimum is. This is where I need to change gears and get the next ratio going to try and get just that little bit closer. 0.37, 36, 35, 0.33, 32, 31. That's about as close as he can get. That double car slipstream, not touching on those curbstones like what Johan Fourie did on the entrance, diving over the top of those curbings, Timothy Stanton, as they come out. But Willem Botha is on the move once again, having a look on the outside of Johan Fourie, and he does appear to have the drive going into the corner. Will we see Johan Fourie coming back up on the inside? Yes, we do. Johan Fourie on that inside line, and Johan Fourie will take the lead back. They are having one hell of a battle out there right now for that lead position. And in fact, Neil Lamprecht and Timothy Stanton as well. One on the inside line, one goes for the outside line. Who's going to get the better of it? Well, it's going to be three abreast. If they carry on like this, they will make sure that they try their best not to make contact. And Neil says, well, if you and Timothy are going to play like that, then I'll just dive around the outside. And Neil goes to the front of that group of three. Lap 12 of 15, 20 minutes and a 3/4 into the 25 minutes as they work their way around. Johan Fourie's now got a reasonable gap on Willem Botha. Willem Botha did have an off track. Let's see if we can see what happened. That's where he lost the drive, Willem Botha. And then let's have a look at Leon van Wyk getting past Timothy Stanton. Timothy goes to the top line, Leon goes to the bottom, and that is how he manages to make that one stick. And Johan Engelbrecht has had an off in the 200 car, just in that little bit too deep, gets it onto the grass rather than spin it around and have chaos. He just slows it all down, and he decides to pull it back onto the circuit again like that. So while all that's on the go, it's Johan Fourie from Willem Botha, and then our eager trio, Leon van Wyk, Timothy Stanton, and Neil Lamprecht. They will be having a whole heap of fun with this one. Great track car combination to have this type of battle with. Timothy Stanton making sure that he closed off that line to ensure there was no cutback by Neil Lamprecht of Induction Noise, powered by ROWE Oil. Leon van Wyk in the Being IT entry, just 2.5 minutes. He's got to somehow find a way to hold on. The Willem Botha Johan Fourie battle is not his issue, and that little late break and having to dive out to ensure he doesn't touch Timothy, I think that's going to cost him any realistic chances of a passing maneuver on this lap. But Timothy Stanton is in with a chance on Leon van Wyk, although Leon's going to be on that inside line going into the corner unless Timothy can go far enough around him. No, he backs out of it. Oh, Timothy Stanton got that one very decent through there. No doubt that he was all in the right places at the right times. But here comes Neil. Here comes Neil. In fact, Timothy's closing down on Leon, and it's going to be three abreast right up against the wall. Who is going to be the best of the late breakers? No, decides to back out of that one, let those two fight it out as they go down into turn number 1. And Leon van Wyk has gone to the front. Neil Having a look now at the back end of Timothy. Timothy's going to have to try and make up that ground because there's only a minute and a quarter left. You just saw Willem Botha going out of picture. There is Willem Botha and there is Johan Verrie. So that's the gap between first and second. That's the gap back to third. A smidgen back to fourth and a double smidgen, if you want to call it that, back to that fifth position. Nothing in it. Leon, Timothy and Neil. Are they going to end in this order? Well, they are, to my mind, pretty much on the last lap. I don't see them doing another lap after this one. As they work their way around, there is 35 seconds still to go. So probably you will find that Johan Verrie will get back to the start-finish line before that time is up, as we've got a beautiful view from the Induction Noise blimp, powered by ROWE Oils, as they go into the kink. 46 seconds. 49, 50. Will Johan Verrie get the white flag or the checker? We're about to find out as Johan Verrie comes through. Is it going to be for the white or for the checkered flag? It's for the checkered flag. It's Johan Verrie for the checkered flag. What a drive. Willem Botha takes away that second. Oh, chaos there on the line. Something went wrong with that one. So Neil will come through. Oh, dearie me. That one went horribly wrong. Completely and utterly. So let's see exactly what happened there with Neil going past Timothy. Oh, that was just a racing incident. That was just a racing incident. Wow. And then Timothy Stanton worked his way then into the pit lane as well. So let's see if we can get a slightly different view of that. Let's have a cockpit view here. And that was just purely a racing incident. There was no way around that one. Nowhere to go whatsoever, and then the back end just breaks away. Well, it is what it is. These things do happen at the end of the day, and we have to accept it. It's part of motorsport as Fanny Gevenstein comes through, and then we look for Robbie Teens as Robbie Teens comes through to get his finish there ahead of Johan Engelbrecht. Right, let's have a look at those results for heat number 1 as we go into the 3-minute break. There is your results for heat number 1. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back with you in a mo. Right, it's time for us to get into race number 2. As we wait for the grid to come up for us. Let's have a look at that grid. Johan Engelbrecht and Robbie Teens on the front row of the grid. Timothy Stanton from Farney Gravenstein, Leon van Wyk from Christian van Wyk, JJ, Daniel, Willem, Johan sitting at the back end of the pack. This is going to be interesting. I think we need a long shot. And we can see how this one's going to play itself out. Robbie Teens, Johan Engelbrecht as they come off the line. Oh, Timothy Stanton that was trying to have a quick run in there. And that's going to drop Timothy Stanton right down. Johan Engelbrecht has got it good. Christian van Wyk gets it completely sideways and gets it straight. Somehow or other, it's Robbie Teens that was in the red car that's running slowly. What a hectic session that was to start off with. That was really brilliant stuff. So, Johan Engelbrecht from Leon van Wyk. Behind that's Johan Verrie, Daniel Lamprecht, as Christian van Wyk, as JJ van Haver as they come through. You gotta love the way the beginning of this race started out. And Johan Engelbrecht is not giving up whatsoever. Johan Engelbrecht leads them out from Leon van Wyk. In the close third position there is Neil Lamprecht from ROWE Oils. And he gets it very sideways as he puts it into the corner, out onto the top banking. But that doesn't slow Johan Engelbrecht down. He has got the line now on Leon van Wyk. Leon tries to dive in behind that slipstream. He just eases it up towards the wall. But it's not enough because Leon van Wyk's on the inside. Leon van Wyk will be later on the brakes. Climbs over the curbstone, holds on to that one pretty neatly as they go through the S's and back out onto the bank circuit. Now, having said that, Christian van Wyk that started on the second row of the grid, he finds himself with the Johan Verrie right in there behind him. And Johan Verrie has got good drive. He's got great drive. He's closed right up onto the slipstream. Christian van Wyk closes off that inside line. Johan Verrie's got to have a look around on the outside. Timothy Stanton looks in his mirror and says, look at what's going on behind me. This is a brilliant battle, and Johan Verrie goes very wide, very deep. In fact, backs out of that move. Christian van Wyk holds on. Christian van Wyk manages to hold on. Let's go back to the front end of the field. Johan Engelbrecht. Johan Engelbrecht has started in pole position on the invert, and now it's Neil from Induction Noise that pops up on the outside line. I don't believe Johan is going to let him get around the outside. No, he doesn't. Johan Engelbrecht holds that line, uses all the track that's available to him, makes that car very, very wide, sticks it in the middle of the circuit. Now, in the right-hander they go, and up that short main, he touches up against the grass, and diving up on the inside line is Johan Verrie, and Johan Engelbrecht has gone into the tires as a puff of smoke, and he takes that one back to the pits. In the meantime, it's Leon van Wyk from Johan Verrie. In there behind that is Neil Lamprecht. Christian van Wyk's having a stonker. Christian van Wyk is having a stonker right now. Look at this. Line astern. Just collapse those curbstones up to the 7,800 RPM, running it along hard on the gas. Christian van Wyk, the purple people eater, just about going into the rev limiter on that 7,800 mark. Now down through the gears and try and get that car to rotate. It just understeers on him. He was in just a little bit too deep and a little bit too hard, and there's chaos in front of him. This is where he's going to pick up a whole bunch of time on the cars in front of him, because he has got Johan Verrie that tried to go for the move on Leon van Wyk, and it didn't work. Leon closed that line off towards the outside, and Johan Verrie's got his work cut out. It's Neil that's at the front end. Christian pulls it in nice and tight, tries to get good drive coming out of the corner. I think he scrubbed off just a little bit too much speed, as we've got a bird's eye view of these three that is in front of him. Let's have a look from our Induction Noise blimp. Look at there, Neil from Leon, and that's Johan that's going for the outside line. That's Christian van Wyk that is just ahead of Timothy Stanton. That's at the back end of our picture. Johan Verries going for the outside line. They're side by side. Who is going to be able to dictate the next corner? Johan Verries, so late on the brakes. How did he make that one stick? That was an amazing piece of driving. Late braking and a perfect line that was taken out there by that man in the 114, Johan Verries. It was a superlative piece of driving. Neil Lamprecht, Johan Verries from Leon van Wyk. Christian van Wyk is having a pretty good run now. Timothy Stanton had that initial problem on the pull away that cost him quite a bit of ground. I'll see if I can pick up that one. It was Willem Botha was the first man that went off track. That was what Willem saw, because the car in front of him, which was JJ, was standing. Also there, same kind of scenario for Timothy Stanton, super quick off the line, and ended up with that kind of situation. Doing a bit of farming, gets it back onto the circuit, and then manages, because of the nature of the circuit, where everybody was now slowing down for the corner, he could make up that ground pretty quickly. So that is how that one played itself out. Let's see what happened with Willem Botha. Just that little bit too fast, stays nice and calm, flat on the gas. And Robbie Teens was around about that point saying, well, I'll have a look around the outside. If you don't want that one, I'll take it from you. And then Johan Engelbrecht has had an incident as well. Let's see if we can pick up Johan Engelbrecht. Oh yeah, this is where Johan Engelbrecht went and stuck it into the tire wall. Yep, it's just too deep and too hard, and that was when the engine expired, and that was the end of that. Oh, look at this. Utterly brilliant, utterly brilliant. Johan Verries has gone to the front, gets it kind of sideways, almost like he pulled up the handbrake and stuck it slightly sideways at that point. Neil Lamprecht from Induction Noise, powered by ROWE Oil, in that second position, ahead of the being IT 79 entry of Leon van Wyk. Christian van Wyk has not lost out that far, but Timothy Stanton is closing on Christian van Wyk. Nice little close up there under braking as well. But the battle royal up front is a brilliant one. Now that Johan Verries has got to the front, the question now, can he pull away, or is Neil from Induction Noise, powered by ROWE Oils, going to be able to close that gap? 7.4, 7.3, 7.2, 7.1, 0.69, 63, 5, 5.4, definitely closing under half a second. So Neil has not given up on catching that man, Johan Verries, and he brings with him Leon van Wyk as well. Christian van Wyk has now got the close attentions of Timothy Stanton, but Neil Lamprecht within a half a second, Leon van Wyk within a half a second. Johan Verries got to work for his numbers tonight. There's nothing for free here. We see in the background Timothy Stanton having a look around the outside of Christian van Wyk, and Neil Lamprecht, somebody forgot to tell him that that's actually the Johan Verries that is leading this race, because he's got gay abandon as he throws that Audi around his four-wheel drive turbocharged mean machines. Leon now losing just a little bit of ground, but Neil's on it. Neil is on it, as is Timothy Stanton. We see Timothy Stanton there once again in the background, all over the back end of Christian van Wyk. Timothy Stanton out. Timothy Stanton. Something's happened to Timothy Stanton. He's gone. Timothy Stanton is gone. He must have something's gone wrong, because we cannot pick up Timothy Stanton at all. Is that it must have been something to do with a connectivity problem, unless he finds himself in the pits for too many transgressions. But even then, it does not make sense. I have no idea what happened to Timothy Stanton. We'll have to go into the Discord to find out about that one. But in the meantime, it's all about Johan Fourie. And here comes the man from Induction Noise. ROWE Oil's working underneath the bonnet there to give him the best possible opportunity into the pits. Johan Fourie's not going to fight that one. He says, let it go, Johan Fourie. And Leon van Wyk says, all right, if you go, must be a good time. I think I'll go with you. So that means that the comeback kid, Robbie Teams, is actually in a very decent position right now. Is Robbie Teams in the 2-3. What a nice fellow, Robbie Teams. Met him face to face at Canaan International a while back. What a lovely guy. Finds himself ahead of a JJ van der Merwe. But in the meantime, Johan Fourie is going to be working his way out of the pits. And look at this. Leon van Wyk has somehow beaten out on Johan Fourie in the time spent in the pits, and he's right on the back bumper. He is right there. The only reason why there's that bit of a gap now is because when Johan Fourie went over the blend line, he could climb on the gas, and then a second later Leon gets to the blend line, and only then can he climb on the gas. And that is what's given that a little bit of space. Now keep in mind, let's take away those gains and losses. Let's go to the pit stops. Christian van Wyk and Neil Lamprecht. I think Neil might just come out of the pits ahead of Johan Fourie. Lap 7 of 15. It's not impossible that Neil might just be able to steal the lead away. Right, this is crunch time. This is crunch time. Now, what is Christian going to do? Christian's deciding to come in as well. So, Neil Lamprecht on his way up the pit lane. Johan Fourie, 1.7 kilometers away and closing. Here comes Johan Fourie, 1.6 kilometers. He brings with him the likes of Leon van Wyk. Christian is into the pits and he's stopped. Neil is into the pits and he's stopped. Johan Fourie is on his way around the corner. No moves yet off that pit box for Christian and or Neil. Here comes Neil Lamprecht and he's on his way out of the pits. Here comes the other two main protagonists, Johan Fourie, and it's going to be Johan Fourie and Leon that is going to take first and second provisionally, and it's going to be Neil that's going to come out in a third position. Christian van Wyk will hold on to that fourth. Lovely stuff by Christian van Wyk. Then only do we see JJ van der Merwe and Willem Botha. Robbie Teams has now gone into the pits. He is in the pit lane. Is Robbie Teams, and then 1.5 kilometers further back is Fanie Cravenstein. So Robbie Teams being in the pits with Johan Engelbrecht that is still out on circuit. Who of these two are going to be the top contenders? I think Robbie Teams is probably going to be able to get out to stay ahead of Johan Engelbrecht. There comes Robbie Teams as he works his way on that pit limiter. That's as fast as you can go. Don't see Johan Engelbrecht coming into picture yet. Nope, there's Johan Engelbrecht only coming down past the pit entrance, so that sorts that one out. So everybody has been in and out of the pits. Johan Fourie from 10th position right to the front end of the field is Johan Fourie. He's done a magnificent job out of it, has Johan Fourie. Leon van Wyk within a second of him. Can Neil remember 3.2? Remember that marker, because that is what Neil's got to do, and that he's got to do within 10 minutes. He's got to take out 3 seconds. How do you do that? Going to be very difficult. The good thing for him is that he does have wide open space in front of him. There's no problem whatsoever. And if we have a look at the battle box in front of him, 3.4 seconds in front of him is Leon van Wyk, who is on same and similar pace. There he can see what he wants to go and fetch. That is the front two. In fact, that is right there in his screen. Oh, that looked like Leon van Wyk went a whole bunch of wide on the last corner. So Neil down to 2.8. Remember what I said? That's 3.2. Let's remember that number. It's down to 2.6. Neil's on the run. The Induction Noise man, powered by ROWE Lubricants, is on the move. He's down to 2.7 seconds. Leon van Wyk losing touch now with Johan Fourie as we ride on board the Induction Noise Audi 90 GTO. On the banked section of the circuit. Clip, 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 climb. Back out, find the maximum revs. You'll run into around about 7,800. Clicks the gear lever. Neil Lamprecht from Induction Noise. Man that does karting as well. Using the same number, the 141. Back to 3.2 seconds. He's not been able to make much of an impact on the last lap. We're 16 minutes into this one. Oh, gets it into a slide there, 4-wheel slide, as we ride on board with him. Now let's have a look at the driving style of Leon van Wyk as opposed to Neil. Now Neil, we see that he likes to get hard on the gas, and he's not scared to spin it up at all. Get into a 4-wheel power drift. Late apex there for Johan Fourie. Carries the speed down the straight like that. 1.7 seconds between the two. Leon van Wyk with a bit of understeer going in there, but takes that nice tight line. Surely, even though he had understeer, that must work in your favor just a smidgen. 1.8 seconds between the two of them. Up 3 positions for Leon van Wyk. Up 9 positions for Johan Fourie. And if he looks behind him, there's a whole bunch of open track behind Leon van Wyk. That's what 3 seconds looks like. That little dot you see in the background, that is Neil. Remember, it was 3.2. It's now down to 3 seconds. It was 2.7 at one stage of the fight. So driving it very hard. But that's what he's got to do at this stage of the fight. If Neil wants to bring that Induction Noise entry of his closer to the being IT entry of Leon van Wyk, that is the only way he's going to do it. He's got to literally overdrive it, throw it around and weave some magic. Christian van Wyk and Willem Botha are in close contingency. In fact, they're not that far behind JJ van der Merwe either. So JJ will be keeping an eye as Christian wants to have a look on the outside, going down into turn number 1. Willem runs it just a little bit too, and Willem also likes to run it very hard and get into those 4-wheel power slide scenarios. Christian van Wyk keeping a lot of pressure on Willem Botha. Can the two of them close down on JJ on 1 second gap? Keep an eye on that one, 1 second. The gap from Neil to Leon was 3.2. It remains pretty much static with 19 minutes to go. how do you get that back on track? Only the likes of Willem Buerta from Toyota Gazoo Racing, the crew chief for Toyota Gazoo Dakar. I think he's on his 22nd Dakar by now, if I remember correctly. He knows what happens when you get off the tarmac onto the grass, or riding in the sand and the rocks is what they do with the Dakar race. Pulled that one back together very, very neatly. This is the closest dice that there is now. And Willem Buerta just on the second. Oh, there's a black dot that's come up on the screen for Willem Buerta. Does that mean he's got a time penalty? That's probably a time penalty. Timothy Stanton must have had too many penalty points against him that he got removed from the system, if you want to call it that. And that's not going to do his championship hopes any good whatsoever at this stage of the fight. Willem Buerta with that black flag, if you want to call it that. That must be like a final warning for track limits. I'm going to hazard a guess that it's for exceeding track limits, and if you don't do a drive-through, it takes you out. And I'm going to guess that Timothy Stanton didn't go for the drive-through before he got the extra penalty points, and that is why he was then black flag out of the race. And well, if you go in for a drive-through or a 5-second standing stop, either way it's going to take you right out of the accounting, excuse the pun, in any case. So that, I think, is where we are at. So Willem Buerta, to my mind, has got to be very careful from here on out, because right now he's looking at 5th place points. If he drops out, he will be looking at 9th place points. So he's got to be very, very careful on those track limits, and that is exactly what he doesn't need. That was right outside of the track limits. Sometimes when you try and be careful, it goes worse instead of better. There is 3 minutes and 20 seconds still to go, and the man of the moment with a 4.78 A rating on iRacing, with an iRacing rating of 7,152. That is unbelievable figures. He's probably out and out, clearly the highest ranked iRacer in South Africa of everybody. I've seen people with Fani Gravenstein on 4.68, Johan Fourie on 4.78, but where the I rating of Fani Gravenstein is 1,448, the I rating of Johan Fourie is 7,152, and that goes about not the safety side of it, that goes about wins and losses, and how you actually pan out against other people out there on circuit, as we keep an eye on Johan Fourie, that's now got a reasonable 4.6 second gap on Leon, who manages to stay at this stage ahead of the Induction Noise powered by ROWE Oil entry of Neil Dumprax from the Green Mamba, in the hands of JJ van der Merwe, 11 seconds further back from the Purple People Eater, Christian van Wyk, 3.7 seconds further back. Then that battle for Willem Buerta, the struggle for him to get to the end of this race with just under 2 minutes to go. I do believe that with this scenario, let's see, it's going to be 23:20. 1 minute 44, you're probably going to find that Johan Fourie on a 1 minute 44. I think that it is going to probably, within milliseconds, it's going to be, this will be the last lap or the penultimate lap. Leon van Wyk being closed down by Neil Dumprax. Neil is getting closer. Neil has definitely done the last lap, must have been quicker. Oh, it was blindingly quick. A 143.8 as opposed to Leon on a 145.44. That is 1.6 seconds. No wonder the gap is visually closed. So a last gasp effort by the man from Induction Noise. on the being IT man that's directly in front of him. Second and third positions. That is where the battle is right now. Can Johan Fourie slow it down just a little to make sure that he doesn't have to do an extra lap just to play safe? Not that Johan Fourie tries to play safe on a racing track. He goes as fast as he can. But with 36 seconds, yeah, I think this is going to be the last lap. I'll be surprised if he pushes it, as he's going to go around the outside of Robbie Teams, most probably. Yep. I'll be surprised if he pushes it to get another lap in. Although the way it's going now, he might have to do another lap. 56, 57, 58, 59. It's going to be for the checkered flag. It's going to be for the checkered flag for Johan Fourie for the second time, and he just slows it down as he comes across the line. Brilliant, Johan Fourie. Leon van Wyk just staying there ahead of Neil Lamprecht's. JJ slightly lonely, 3 positions up from his original invert start. Comes JJ. As he comes across the line, Christian van Wyk. Willem Poorter's got a yellow flag there already tagged to his back, and he does a fancy let's go across the line, and he gets himself a black flag for that one. Barney Cravenstein will be coming through in the 2 car to come and complete his race. A 35-second gap there. I think Willem just busted himself for points, to be honest. Although I suppose he's finished the race in that position, he's got to get the 6th position points. As Barney Cravenstein comes across the line. Here comes Johan Engelbrecht. He's had a bit of a lonely time today. No Peter van der Spey out there, no Sandra Bakari out there, no Leonardo Bakari out there. So Johan Engelbrecht in this one is going to take top honors. He will take a full house of points, which he will very happily take and encroach the gap between himself and the front runners in the class. And then the last man to come through, the original comeback kid, Robbie Teams. Ricky Bobby comes across the line. And Timothy Stanton was out of it, so unfortunately he couldn't go there any further. So, having said all that, let's have a look-see. So, qualifying. Alright, let's first of all clear the screen completely for you. Alright. So, in the qualies, it was Johan. Okay, so in the qualies, kudos, Timothy Stanton. What a boykie. Quicker than Willem Poorter, Neil, JJ, and Leon. Well done, Timothy. I'll give that one to you. Heat number 1. Johan Fourie, where we would have expected. Willem Poorter, where we would have expected. Neil Lamprecht beating out on JJ, Christian van. Good ride by Christian van Wyk. I tend to think that this one, if you think that Neil, JJ, Christian, Leon, and Timothy are pretty much on the same pace, I'm going to give this one to the man from Induction Noise, powered by ROWE Oil, Neil Lamprecht, for picking up that 2nd position and beating out on JJ, Christian, and Leon, and Timothy. Let's go to the feature. Johan Fourie, double header. Impressive stuff. Leon from Neil, from JJ, from Christian. Based on the fact that we gave race number 1 to Neil of Induction Noise, on the same basis, Leon beating out on Neil, JJ, and Christian, and Willem, and Timothy, I'm going to give the 2nd race to the being IT man, Leon van Wyk. An overall driver of the day, fastest qualifier, winner in race number 1, winner of race number 2, class act, always on the button, always tactical, normally the first man to go into the pits, doesn't knock other people off the circuit. The man of the day must be Johan Fourie. There's no way that we can take that one away from him. A big thanks to Induction Noise, powered by ROWE Oils, for their involvement in today's racing and for the whole season that we've had the pleasure to enjoy. I hope to see you guys next week for season 15, round number 9, and it will be running at the same time as what we ran this week. From my side, Gary Gazer from Second Gear Productions from the friendly city of Cape Town. Cheers, everybody. Until next week.